events, and here is the morning news. As part of preparations for the next month's general elections, INEC has received the last consignment of the bimodal voter accreditation beavers machines. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, national commissioners and senior officials of the commission were at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, to receive the beavers. A statement by INEC National Commissioner for Information, Festus Okoye, explains that to facilitate the smooth delivery of the machines, INEC created 4 airport hubs in Abuja, Kano, Lagos and Port Harcourt. Over the last 4 months, several flights delivered the beavers to the designated airports for movement to states of the Federation ahead of the elections. With the arrival of the last flight in Abuja, the Commission has now taken delivery of the required number of beavers for all the polling units in the country and extra machines in line with the contingency provisions for all critical election materials. The High Court of the Federal Capital Territory sitting in Gariki, Abuja, has squashed the allegations of false assets declaration against the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. In an originating summons filed by Somadina Zobaka, the claimant sought, among other things, an order of mandatory injunction directing and compelling the INEC chairman to step down pending the investigation and consideration of the various allegations against him. The plaintiff also sought an order of court stopping the INEC chairman from holding or assuming any public office for a period of 10 years. Professor Yakubu, who is, in response to the allegation, furnished the court with several exhibits to show the sources of money for the purchase of the properties which the plaintiff alleged were illegally acquired, and insisted that his asset declaration were validly done. In the judgment, Justice Hassan found that the declaration of assets by the INEC chairman is lawful, valid and in compliance with the law, and that he cannot be investigated by any of the security agencies listed by the claimant. The judge declined to grant any of the 14 prayers of the claimant and allowed the counterclaims of the defendant. And on security, the Department of State Services has arrested the mastermind of a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device attack on 29th December 2022 near the palace of the Hineri of Ibralan in Okene, Kogi State, during the president's visit to commission some projects in the state. A statement by the DSS spokesperson, Dr. Peter Afnaya, says the service arrested one Abdulmumin Ibrahim Otaru, also known as Abu Magdad, and his associates, Saidu Suleiman, on the 3rd January 2023. Otaru, according to the statement, sustained a gunshot injury on his left foot while attempting to escape. He is currently receiving treatment at a health facility. Investigations by DSS revealed that Otaru was a high commander of Islamic State West Africa Province ISWAP and has coordinated several attacks, including the 5th July 2022 attack on Kuje Medium Security Custodial Center in Abuja. Similarly, Otaru and his gang have staged several kidnap operations in Kogi and Ondo states. Meanwhile, the suspects are in custody and will be prosecuted accordingly. While reiterating its commitment to the safety of the nation, the DSS assures that it worked assiduously with stakeholders, including sister security agencies, to tackle the menace of terrorism and other forms of criminality in the country. The generation capacity of Nigeria's power sector is estimated at 13,000 megawatts, but what is distributed is less than 4,000 megawatts. The shortfall between generation and distribution is attributed to weak transmission network. But there is a cheery news, as federal government is addressing the challenges of impending supply of adequate electricity through the Presidential Power Initiative.
The Siemens Agreement will boost capacity in terms of resolving the issues of the bottlenecks in the distribution interface. If generation has been improved, and then also transmission network has also been improved and made to evacuate power. Issues of not being coherent with the targets, achievable targets in the sector, evidenced by the intervention of the agreement signed for seniors by President Muhammadu Buhari.
The project is going on very well, and it's aimed at.
Let's talk health. In the wake of renewed alarms on the deadly Ebola virus disease owing to emerging trends around sub-Saharan Africa, the FCT Health Authorities has put in measures to forestall any possible outbreak of Ebola and other infectious diseases, not forgetting COVID-19.
Ebola, as we call it, is one of the diseases that is classified as viral hemorrhagic fever, and Ebola virus disease is one of them. In short form, we call it EBD. As we speak, we have outbreaks in some countries, particularly African countries. The world is a global village, and one case of Ebola is an outbreak. It's a very highly infectious and very deadly. The EP division of the public health is in alert mode. In addition to the diseases of public health importance reported under the Integrated Disease Surveillance IDSR routinely.
Meanwhile, Ghana has joined the list of countries taking measures against traveling to and through China in the wake of the current wave of COVID-19. In the People's Republic of China, the Ghanaian government is warning its citizens to take necessary measures while embarking only on essential travel to China. In a statement by the country's Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, the Ghanaian government has declared that with effect from 6th January 2023, travelers from China to Ghana will be required to present a 48-hour PCR test result and undergo mandatory antigen testing at the point of entry free of charge until further notice. And it is on that health note that we conclude the morning news, and I hand over to Kingsley and Ian for the continuation of the program after this break.
Nigerian, we country, everything na the country, now one man be a everything on the party, now one man be a the president we need, the president we go for.
People of Nigeria don't talk them say na Asiwaju Bola Tinubu they want as president of Nigeria. Our country people get many reasons wey make them all agree say na Asiwaju Bola Tinubu dem choose for this president election. Yes, so Bola Tinubu na man wey sabi anything wey he put in hand, he dey work wella. He do better work for Lagos State when he be governor. Till today, Lagos people still dey enjoy from all the better things wey Jaburata for Lagos. People of Nigeria, we good to make you vote for who sabi. As e come be so, make we all come out for election day and vote Bola Ahmed Tinubu as president of Nigeria. Vote Senator Kashim Shettima as vice president. Vote APC, the party wey to grow.
Who be the president we go for?
As the 2023 elections draw near, remember, evil prospers when good men and women only wish for peace, but never take a step to make peaceful elections happen. Are you a father? Are you a mother? What are you saying to your children as elections approach? Have you warned them not to let themselves be used to cause violence? Have you explained to them what the consequences of electoral violence might be? Do your part to make peaceful elections happen. Talk to your children. Protect them from unscrupulous politicians who want to put them in harm's way, while their own children are comfortable at home, within and outside the country. Let's join hands to make 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
We are all Nigerians. Against all odds, we shall and must remain united. We may have our challenges, our problems, and setbacks. However, together we shall overcome them all. What doesn't break us shall make us stronger. This is the mindset that shall bring peace, progress, and prosperity to our beloved country. Do not let tribal and religious sentiments govern how you think, act, or feel. Don't be influenced by those who want to destroy our precious national unity. Everybody who's a Nigerian is your brother and your sister. This is the mindset of the new Nigeria. It is also the mindset that we must all adopt. Let us support each other in creating the Nigeria of our dreams. This message is from the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
The security challenges we have faced as a government have been daunting, from terrorism to banditry, to kidnapping, to separatist violence, to crude oil theft, to armed robbery and sundry crimes. It's undoubtedly the greatest challenge to the peace and security of our great country since the Civil War of 1967 to 1970. It is a kind of challenge that would have overwhelmed many nations. But thanks to the purposeful leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, we can say, I want to repeat, that the worst is over and peace and security are gradually returning to the land.
This message is brought to you from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
What is happening? Your eyes are red. Your hand is a machete and a gun. See, I am angry and I can't even contain it. See, my guy, calm down, calm down. See, I have planned to go and destroy these people's businesses in the city. I have to retaliate for what they've done at our place. They cannot take and have it now, never. If you destroy their business here and they destroy that of those close to you over there, especially that your brother who sends you steady cash, how would you survive? Would your dreams be on hold? See, what you're saying is correct, but I'm still angry. The best way is to embrace peace. With peace and unity.
People, let us embrace peace and unity. Let's learn to live as brothers and sisters for a progressive, prosperous nation.
This message is brought to you from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Up next is business news with Comfort Amudu.
The Central Bank of Nigeria says its attention has been drawn to misleading online publication which made several false claims concerning the recent sale of the federal government's interest in Polaris Bank Limited. Statement by Director Corporate Communications Osita Nwasubi said contrary to claims by an online publication, the divestment from Polaris Bank was supervised by a divestment committee comprising senior representatives of AMCON and CBN and supported by reputable legal and financial advisors. The divestment process and decision received requisite board and regulatory approvals. At no time did any other party make a higher purchase offer as falsely claimed by the online publication. The entity in question, Fairview Acquisition Partners, did not take the opportunity to update their offer by participating in the divestment process and thus did not make a binding purchase offer for Polaris Bank. The divestment was executed based on the relevant laws, global best practices for bank resolutions, and requisite regulatory approvals. The CBN says it remains resolute in pursuing its mandate to promote a safe and sound financial system in Nigeria.
Is there enough market intelligence to guide the whole process?
Africa is set to have huge domestic markets for various goods and services and a destination for leading brands. To sustain this trajectory, key players say Africa must work together to develop a unified regulatory framework and policies that will be a win-win for African countries.
If we don't break the policy barriers that will enable export and import, then it will be difficult for our products, lots of products from creative industries, from agricultural produce to even leave Nigeria.
The equities market closed Wednesday trading session in positive territory. The all-share index advanced by 0.12% at 51,600 657.56 basis points. With Business News Comfort, Amadu.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Now, next is a review of national dailies, newspaper review.
As usual, Chukwudi Okoli-Bada is standing by for the newspaper review. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning too. How are you?
Doing very well.
It's time for sore eyes. Thank God you're here now.
Happy New Year, by the way. I think it's the first time I'm seeing you there.
That's why I said you're excited for sore eyes. You went away. Now you're back. We're happy you are.
Good to see you.
So, yeah.
Anyways,
thank you.
We have 3 papers for review this morning, plus of course other items that you may present. But anyway.
Alright, let's begin with the Punch this morning. So many stories right here on the front page of the Punch newspaper, and just starting with the Borders headline, which reads, Discos hike electricity tariff, secretly consumers kick. I'm sure you're going to hear that again. Discos hike electricity tariff, secretly consumers kick. And the writers, consumers accuse Discos of fleecing margins, operators neck silent. Discos began new tariffs January 1, the order arbitrary increments. And that's coming from Ekan. Details on page 20 of the Punch. Beside the masthead we have, I don't understand why assassins killed my brother, wife, son, slain CBN workers' sibling. Very sad story which happened on January 1, and details on page 3 of the Punch. Above the masthead we have NNPC prospects for oil in Niger, Borno. Page 23 has the details, and next to that we have Nigeria's debt to hit 77 trillion naira, loan servicing gulps 5.2 trillion naira, and you can read up that on page 19. We also have the CBN in the news. Of course, we have 25 buyers invited for Puari's bank sale, and that is credited to the CBN. And of course, we have the CBN governor's picture right there, and of course, so many stories. About the CBN and the CBN governor. Away from that, we have the picture story in front of the Punch this morning, and below that we have elections. INEC sets aside 8,809 beavers as backup, and details on page 2 of the Punch. We also have fuel marketers boycott private depots, and on page 5 of the Punch this morning we have 20 youths feared dead as Kebbi boat capsizes. And finally, from the Punch, we have 2.74 trillion naira security budget low. That's credited to the reps panel. Quickly moving to the leadership newspaper, now we have the lead headline, which says federal government at crossroads says debt profile may hit 72 trillion naira. And the kicker to that story is alteration of 2023 budget. The riders decry 6 trillion naira loss to tax waivers. Says stamp duty allegations still under investigation. Exchange rate may go above $1 to 1,000 naira. That's coming from Utumi. Alright, above that we have I serve Nigeria with all my heart. Tinubu assures Nigerians. Some details on page 7. Above that we have another fuel scarcity imminent as Nipeng threatens nationwide strike. Details on page 7. This story is not interesting this morning. Above the leadership, we have PDP and Edge as G5 governors meet in Moyo. That's on page 4 of the leadership. Next to that, we have Bauchi Emirates sacks Kingmaker for disrespecting Bala Muhammad. Alright, that's on page 17 of the leadership. Quickly looking at some headlines. Just beside the picture story of the leadership this morning, we have, after 4 years, Edu inaugurates new NDDC board. Details on page 24. Assets declaration, court stops probe. Arrest of INEC chairman. Details on page 12. And finally, DSS arrest masterminds of Kogi explosion
And you can read up that's also on page 12 of the leadership. So that's it from the leadership this morning.
Okay, before we begin, let me quickly take a look at the New Telegraph. Above the nameplate of the New Telegraph for this morning, fuel subsidy, EFCC recovers 13 billion naira illegal payments with a rider or two riders rather. Nigeria instrumental to OPEC's December oil output, according to report. Production peaked at 1.35 million barrels per day. Details of that on page 3 and 35. Now, below the name flag, Buhari's visit, DSS arrests mastermind of Kogi explosion. It's on page 6. Says suspect senior ISWAP commander. ASU kicks as federal government withholds unions November dues over audit report. That's on page 4. Importation stifling Nigeria's sufficiency in drug manufacturing. That's according to NAFDAC. That story is on page 5 of the New Telegraph. Indigame, while I am not supporting Tinubu, Atiku Obi Kwankwaso says Buhari's government not responsible for hardship. It's on page 2. Now the big story, DMO, Nigeria's total debt stock to hit 77 trillion naira by May 2023. As federal government forecloses debt restructuring. So other riders include defense and security get 2.98 trillion naira infrastructure, 1.24 trillion health, and 1.15 trillion allocations in 2023. Budgets hopeless, says Ezra Presley. Well, okay, now beside the picture story on the New Telegraph, new naira notes we are yet to see touch redesigned currencies. That's on page 29. Bauchi residents lament. Yes, new naira notes we are yet to see touch the designed currency in Bauchi State. Okay, Article 2 Tinubu, we are not qualified to speak on integrity. As of pages 5 and 26. APC plans mega rally for Enugu. Alright, now shake up as NAF appoints new branch chiefs, AOCs and others. Customs Board elevates 3 ACGs, 1,490 senior officers. The story is on page 5. Mbaka returns to adoration ground after 8-month suspension in monastery. It's on page 28. Alright, 2023 polls, that's the kicker. INEC takes delivery of Beaver's last batch. The story on pages 2, 3, and 8. It laments 800,000 untrained PVC in Ogun State. Court throws out suit on asset declaration against INEC chairman. Nigeria records 35 new COVID-19 cases in 1 week. New variants not detected in the country yet, NCDC. We are taking a part of your time.
Quite a chunk. Yeah. So I'm going to be breezy about it.
Exactly.
Let's start with the EFCC recovering 13 billion naira illegal payments in the name of subsidy. This is coming from a document reportedly published on the website of the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit. That's the NFIU, according to the New Telegraph. I heard it from you.
Yeah.
Now, it links it to the National Inherent Risk Assessment of Money Laundering and Terrorist Financing in the Nigerian extractive sector. The first thing you want to consider here is the credibility of the story, but since a website is quoted, we can say that some attribution has taken place. Having said that, one would have expected the EFCC to be the ones to beat their own chest. I mean, 13 billion naira illegal payments, discovered by the EFCC. It's not a joke. One would have expected them to be the ones to out with it. But it shouldn't surprise us, that sharp practices are being intoned in the subsidy regime. If Nigeria could move from about that's in the story we just have there. The point I'm trying to make now is we shouldn't be surprised that illegal payments have been discovered. If you remember that when bunkering was finally decided to be clamped down on
a lot of things happened. Kilian, a lot of things happened. We moved from 900,000 barrels per day to now 1.35 million barrels per day within just 4 months. Can you see the beauty of enforcement? A time comes when we tell people you can't cross that line anymore. Now, intelligence units are eloquent on the existence of persons of bad intention in the country. The questions we want to ask, therefore, is what are the precautions being taken against fraud? And when people are caught, it doesn't just stop at this, the discovery and plugging the holes. Are they brought to book? Because this would be a good source of a deterrent in future. I think these are things we have to consider. The good thing is that the timeline on total removal of subsidies still remains June. Maybe that's when all the Wahala will come to an end. That's what I think. That's the opinion.
Of course, another type of Wahala could also evolve, because analysts have indicated in the past that, of course, the removal of subsidy is the right thing to do, but if something comes after that, there has to be a buffer for it. I mean, because there's going to be a kind of shock, because it will bring a kind of economic earthquake, if you like, in terms of it will affect all other things that we do, food items.
That's always a bandwagon.
Exactly. Yeah, domino. And if proper plan is not made to checkmate such shocks, then it's going to be another as you put it.
There's a second one quickly. ASU case as FG withdraws union's November dues over audit report. Now, the spokesperson of the Ministry of Labour and Employment, that's Olajide Oshudu, is alleging that in spite of the government's request for same, ASU has not submitted an audit report on monies remitted to the union over a 4-year period. Now, this is an issue of transparency, if I may say so. Now, if it is true, does ASU have a reason for withholding the report? If the reasons are there, has ASU told us what the reasons are? I think these are issues we have to take up. Then quickly, Nigeria records 35 new COVID cases in 1 week. COVID is cold condition sensitive. We cannot assume we'll be insulated from it. Let's be cautious. That's what I
And I would quickly want to take you up on that. I mentioned that last week. I remember vividly before the conference.
We are not going to bloat.
We're very optimistic that we have it under control.
Do you think that all these while that everyone has been keeping quiet about COVID, that people have not had people still let's live it. I don't know what to do. That's saying, because it will come usually when such thing comes, you deal with it. We have cough, we have other fleas like that. It's a class of ladies and gentlemen. I think
scientific.
I think
and there is need.
Exactly. Yes, there's no precaution, and then maybe from now henceforth I'll begin to call Karen Dr. Karen, because it's
we should be scientific about it.
We're actually out of time, but quickly, this disco issue and increasing tariff secretly. I mean, is that right?
Well, the tariff has been increased previously. The secretly aspect of it suggests to me it's an investigation. When it's an investigation, you're cautious about it because it's not attributed to any member of the NERC, that's the NERC, or the discos. So let's leave it at this stage.
No, but if you have bought
pound to find out what the case is.
If you have bought, electricity, whatever it is called, this year from January, it is clear that the unit you get is less than what
I paid last year. I bought about 15,000 naira in November, which is going to take me to. So I've not discovered
Okay, well, for those who have actually patronized any of the discourse,
I don't know what has happened, whether there is a manipulation in the metering system, or it's has adjusted to go faster. Because these are simple things that we should know. Those things can be made to go faster or slower, as the case may be. The metering.
They don't have to touch your meter.
Look, was it manufactured by?
No, they don't have to touch your meter to increase everything.
It's the number of units you get.
Do you know that sometimes they'll come and check your meter to check the functionality of the meter, because they have the knowledge that some clever guys can adjust that meter to move slowly. Whatever unit you buy, it is the meter that discharges it into the system.
That's their routine.
Exactly. So when they do that, they want to know whether you have tampered with it. So they do that. So it is a
tampering with the meter is completely different from the issue of raising tariff without actually informing your customers.
Yes, that's the point I was making.
That's the main issue.
Meter to do that. It will be done from headquarters.
Anyways, we're out of time, so we'd leave it at that for now, and of course we'll take a break. When we come back, we shall get into the discussion properly on Good Morning Nigeria. Please stay with us.
Nigeria, African beauty of the Gulf of Guinea, blessed with natural landmarks and wildlife reserves. Nigeria, largest economy in Africa. Nigeria, famous accomplishment in entertainment and sports. Nigeria, resourced with globally respected human capital. Our uniqueness lies in our tenacity, our acumen, a testament of success. At NTA, we are forever proud to be the showcase channel of this positive energy and the reflection of the good in our nation. The capacity to tell our nation's story would not have been possible without the support and patronage of the three arms of government: ministries, departments, agencies, corporate bodies, advertisers, religious bodies, civil society groups, political parties, and of course you, our esteemed viewers. As we wish you a prosperous new year, let's get set to make 2023 even greater together.
The violent and criminal activities of indigenous people of Biafra and its arm wing, the Eastern Security Network, present the greatest threat in the Southeast zone. However, kidnapping for ransom, armed banditry, communal clashes have been some of the security threats that bedevil the region. Accordingly, joint military operations are being conducted in the Southeast to overcome the threats and to entrench peace and security. The military effort, in collaboration with other security agencies, are achieving the set objectives, which are the defeat of the threat and restoration of peace and security in the region.
This message is brought to you from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve the sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels, leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news, or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic, and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.
Our country want better. Our country want better. Who go do one for us? Papa can move, Mama can move. For a better Nigeria, good life in God. Now you want to, now you we need. Oh,
Yeah, so people of Nigeria, they jolly for the better one shell for the country. So we need to put Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, the next president of Nigeria. Our people don't look the matter well. Say only Bola Tinubu don't do what everybody can see. Now you get the experience where you go fit use take make our country better, make life sweet for we and our picking them. Bola Tinubu don't gather better plan to chase down work for we youth, better school, the security of lives and property, unity and peace of all the country people of Nigeria. But these and many other better things where in don't vocalize. It could make we all vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu president of Nigeria. Vote Kashif Shettima as vice president. Vote APC, the party ratio groom. Now you need
The counsel of our fathers.
My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days. You probably do not know what it is.
Nigerian youth, let's build our nation together.
Alright, we are glad you're still with us on Good Morning Nigeria for today. To begin our discussion on the subject matter, which of course are the expectations in the agricultural sector in 2023. Let's get this report put together by Abdul Salam Jibril.
According to former U.S. President Thomas Jefferson, agriculture is our wisest pursuit because it will, in the end, contribute most to real wealth, good morals, and happiness. This certainly underscores the importance of agriculture in today's world. Some experts maintain that, globally, agriculture impacts society in many ways by supporting livelihoods through food, habitat, job creation, and providing raw materials, among others. In the not too distant past, agriculture was the mainstay of Nigeria's economy. Some analysts insist that despite the presence of oil in the country, it is the main source of livelihood for most Nigerians as it provides food and jobs for the populace. Available data from the National Bureau of Statistics reveals that agriculture accounts for about 23% of the country's gross domestic product. The Bureau also indicates that the agricultural sector in the first quarter of 2022 grew by 3.16%, an increase of 0.88% from the corresponding period of 2021. The sector also grew by 1.34% in the third quarter, showing an increase of 7.47% from the same quarter of 2021. This is despite the World Food Programme's assertion in 2022 that the world is facing a food crisis of unprecedented proportions, with millions at risk of worsening hunger brought about by climate change, conflict, and the threat of global recession. With these threats, what is to be expected in the sector in 2023? Are there provisions for the adoption of relevant technology to further enhance the sector? Access to land, finance, and fertilizers has been a bane for farmers across the country. How will these be addressed? Guest on Good Morning Nigeria will be speaking on expectations for the agricultural sector in 2023 shortly.
Thank you, Abdusalam, for the background report. Now joining us in the studio right here in Abuja to discuss our topic is the Director of Federal Department of Agriculture, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Engineer Abdullahi Garba Abubakar. Thank you for joining us and Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you. Good morning, Nigerians.
Also with us in the studio is the Dean, Faculty of Agriculture, University of Abuja, Professor Akin Oworinde. Prof is also a fellow and the National Secretary, Entomological Society of Nigeria. You're welcome, Prof.
Good morning, Nigerians, and Happy New Year.
All right, and next to me is Architect Kabir Ibrahim. Architect Ibrahim is a member of Board of Trustees, National Agricultural Development Foundation of Nigeria, and a farmer, welcome to Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah. Okay, gentlemen, it's indeed a pleasure to have you here. We've had each and every one of you on a number of occasions, on this platform discussing issues related to agriculture. And of course, agriculture is the mainstay of any viable economy, be it in developed country, developing or underdeveloped nation. But what matters is how are you prepared to harness the value chain of agriculture to be able to have a viable economy. And agriculture is also a sector that has been neglected over the years by successive administrations. But later, perhaps in the last 10 years or thereabout, there was a paradigm shift in terms of government policy and implementation capacity of government in terms of enhancing agriculture. And the present administration also added to that, but of course, bringing more life or putting more blood, injecting more blood into the agricultural system. But let's do an evaluation now of what happened last year with respect to agriculture. And I'd like to begin with Professor Akim Oyarinde.
Okay. When we talk about agriculture, Africa as a whole, agriculture has been a tradition of our people. We are so blessed that we have more than 1/3 of the natural resources as regards the globe, that's the whole world, being resident in Africa. And that's why when you move out of Nigeria and you move elsewhere to other part of the globe, you will not see a place where you can throw a seed and it will grow crazily and start producing without nurturing. So it means God has blessed us with all the resources that is required. In the last 7-8 years, there is more attention into agriculture. But are we moving in the right direction? Are the real actor in the agricultural value chain, are they getting the resources? Because the budget provision and what has been given to agriculture recently by the President Muhammadu Buhari's government, it pays so much attention to agriculture. But the fact remains that even from the prelude of this program, that's not the kind of agric we want to be presenting. Where you have the younger ones will not want to do a laborious agriculture. In that prelude, you see people planting rice, dipping it manually. The youth, the younger ones, will not take that from us. They want us to have an agric that is evolving, where you can have expanse of land that will be cultivated with fewer number of people and the productivity will increase. Last year, 2022, the contribution of agric to our GDP deepened. The year before it was 25-point-something%, but last year it ended at 23.3%. It means that there's a slight reverse from what was achieved in the 2 previous years. So it means that the government is having so much interest in agriculture, but the real actor within the agricultural value chain are not getting the attention. I know you take me to that we have Anchor Borders program and a host of other things, and we have funds that are released in the ministry and a host of other programs. But who are the actual people that are participating? Who are the actual people that have access to all the helps? Are they the portfolio farmer like what I used to say? Or are they political farmers? Because whether we like it or not, the subsistence farmer, which Architect Kabiru represents here, we have clusters of actors within the agricultural value chain that are small, older farmers. Are we assisting them? Are we helping them? No. Because the only way we can help them is to introduce modernity, modern way of farming that will be enticing. We will usually talk about rural-urban migration. The children will have to leave the village because they are not seeing hope of staying there. But in developed world, in the last 3 months thereof, I was in Netherlands. Netherlands doesn't have what we have. But in Netherlands, the development they have in Netherlands focus that even the children, the younger ones that are in the suburb, that's the countryside that we call the villages, don't even want to come to the city because they have all what is required. When I was in Israel, China, and a host of other countries, you see that the villages, or that's what we call it in Nigeria, are even more developed that you prefer to go and stay there to have a good livelihood than rushing to come to the city. So what we should do is not new. We have so many agri programs. The latest one that was released is NATIP. That is the National Agricultural Technology and Innovation Policy. It's a policy in the good direction. We cannot practice agriculture without innovation. And there's this misconstrued and misconception about mechanization. Really, we said we should mechanize farming. The next thing that comes to the mind of everybody is tractor. There is difference between tractorization and mechanization. In mechanization, you can have small tools just to assist the farmer to do what they want to do as easy as possible. And we should be thinking of indigenizing this. Because I remember one of my friends that was the director of mechanization in the Ministry of Agri before. We argued this. Now, why must you be importing agri element to Nigeria? Why? In 2015, when I was in China, the Minister of Commerce in China said they are still doing what they call imitation as at 2015. Because the first set of phone that we used that came from China, we call it Ongona. When you carry it, it makes noise. It will reach your ear. But now, most of the phones that we are using come from China. Because they have learned their lesson that they want to make a mistake and advance from the mistake. All right. So in 2015, let me close with this. Between 2015 and 2018, they said they will start innovation. So the narrative that we are talking about, we should be thinking of how do we develop our technology locally by adopting, by enhancing that, so that it suits our ecological area and it suits our ecosystem.
Many thanks, Professor Akim Morende. Of course, you have mentioned some of the challenges in the agricultural sector, but I'd like to hear from Architect Kabir Ibrahim. You are a farmer. You know, Professor has spoken to us from the classroom. You are in the farm. So I want you to tell us exactly what really are the challenges of, you know, an average farmer in Nigeria. Be specific about last year. You know, some of the challenges so that we can look for how we can get it right this year.
Well, I agree with the professor in all the things that he said, and talking from the farmer's point of view, I would like to reiterate the fact that our farmers must be incentivized to innovate, to take agriculture as a business, to search for information and make what they do viable. Now, government is supposed to create the enabling environment. To do that, government cannot fund all agricultural business. The windows that are open today in the, for instance, the CBN Anko Borrower, as Prof rightly said, it is targeting people who have connections and who know one person or another. You should make it wholesale to all farmers. The farmers will take this money, use it, and pay back for others to get. The thing has to be revolving, because we cannot have enough fund to go around all the farmers in this country. It is very, very important that we target the real farmer in giving credit. Also, we should be able to appoint people to run our agricultural system because they know what to do, because they're capable of doing it, not because of politics or because of whom they know. You must pick and choose people, and you have to have many of these programs actually institutionalized. Some of the interventions are ad hoc. You will see, because you are going down memory lane, Krian said the last 10 years. I will want to say the last 16 years. has seen a lot of intervention in agriculture that should have taken us beyond where we are today. But because of implementation and because of targeting of the farmers, because we have not been looking inwards, we have missed the point. The farmer is anybody who chooses to do agriculture as first a means of survival, two as a business. The farmer should be able to access information, credit from inside, from Nigeria, and it should be able to do that. It should be able to do that seamlessly. Agriculture itself does not take place here in Abuja, for instance, the federal capital. It takes place in the rural areas. It's a rural thing. If you take anywhere in the world, agriculture actually takes place in the rural areas. And the rural areas have to be made livable for people to remain there and work. And then as you mechanize, there are many things, many jobs that will sprout from agriculture, from processing, from distribution, even from consumption. So you don't have too many people like we have now working in agriculture, and then we have so much problems. Because if you take the first world, take United States for instance, the population of the farmers is hardly 2% of the population because of mechanization. If you take Europe, it's about 3% because of mechanization. So we must be able to do mechanization. I'm glad that you have Elijah Abubakar here. He is the SY director of mechanization before he became director of FDA. Yeah, he knows very well that Nigeria needs a lot of mechanization. We have been talking since 2017 of getting a loan in kind from Brazil to the extent of 1.1 billion. Up to now is not actualized. He knows why. We don't have the impetus to really make it happen. How can you be talking of a loan package for this number of years and it's not there? So our problem is not policy, it is implementation.
Yes, I'll pause you there. Implementation, a very key word in what I have submitted this morning, because I recall during the Obasanjo administration, there was this UNESCO report or UNESCO blueprint. There was a request, by Obasanjo then for a blueprint on what the Prof mentioned earlier, homegrown technology. What is the process of homegrown technology? That document was not only meant for Nigeria, because UNESCO expanded it to also involve other African nations. And if you implement this blueprint, both agricultural chain, process, and all of that will fall in place. Okay, so let's go to Director, Department of Agriculture, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. The rural aspect of it which you raise, because agriculture is also local. Now, give us a sense of what happened last year in the agricultural sector, the efforts the government has made so far. We appreciate the fact that this government advanced reasonably, in the sector, bringing in intervention mechanism and other policies that have been properly implemented. Of course, we have the pyramid, the rice pyramid, and all that. So tell us more about that.
Well, actually, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development has done a lot in terms of supporting smallholder farmers. We have really never gotten it so good, particularly in this administration, where we normally support farmers with seeds, because hitherto farmers buy grains and say they are planting seeds, which is not really the case. But because they have gotten viable seeds, they record a bumper harvest. And not only that, just to lay credence to what Prof and Architect Kabir has said in terms of mechanization, we have also tried to see how do we support these smallholder farmers to at least reduce their drudgery on the farm. We have also seen where do we get this simple farm tools that can assist these farmers, to the extent that
Some of them, we allow them in as import, then